protection? Did you see the unblocked rushes and also your left and right tackle struggle?
Yeah, they struggled, both of them. I just thought our whole pass offense struggled, really. Sacks was part of that. Coverage was part of that. Um, Guys getting open was part of that. I think it's more fair to say that our pass offense struggled more so than our protection, but protection is part of pass offense.
Will you consider making some significant changes on offense in light of how you performed the last couple of weeks, especially on third downs and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we consider that every week, win or lose. But we're not going to make a change just for the sake of making a change. Okay, so we'll look at it closely and weigh the alternatives, and we'll make a decision.
What was your assessment of Joe's play yesterday?
Well, he was part of the offense, and the offense obviously didn't play well enough, and he was 1/11th of that. And obviously your quarterback is a big part of your offense, and I think he was, just like the rest of our offense, we didn't play well enough. We got dominated.
You've been through tough times. You've been in this business a long time. What would your message be to the Bronco fans that were booing and those who woke up this morning that were angry and frustrated with the performance?
Well, with that performance, they have every right to be angry, and they have every right to boo. We probably deserved it. But, it's a loyal fan base, one that I've grown quickly to appreciate. And we're doing everything we can to get this fixed as quickly as possible.
Cortland's son had 2 more big catches last night, but how much of an adjustment is it for a second-year guy to maybe still get open with the extra attention he may be getting from other teams?
Well, it's an adjustment, but he's got to be able to do it and be able to play the entire game, full speed, get open, fight through the tough times. They weren't giving him any other special attention than the other receivers were getting. They were playing balanced coverages that was equal on both sides, and we just have to do, like I said, it's our pass offense that has to improve.
Your Bulls didn't have very many penalties before this week for the past couple of weeks, and then it flared up again yesterday. What do you attribute that to?
Some of it's poor technique, I think, is the biggest culprit in his operation, and we've got to do a good job of getting that taught to him in such a way that it sticks, okay, and that he can consistently do it on a week-in, week-out basis.
What do you say to him during a game or after a game?
Well, I talked to him after the game, obviously, and I asked him what went wrong, how were those calls, and he explained them to me, and you just got to keep fighting through it.
Is he still your left tackle going forward here?
He is right now, yes.
What's the key to getting more consistency in special teams?
Well, we got to punt the ball better. The long return they had was not a good punt. It had very little hang time, and by the time the guy caught the ball, our guys were still a good ways away from the returner. That's never a good start. And then once we get there, we got to cover and tackle better. We missed some tackles on that long punt return that we need to make. So it's a little bit of everything. It's the kick. Kick is always priority number 1, and then coverage number 2. And our coverage wasn't good enough on that play to make up for the poor kick.
Vic, in general, how do you deal with, sort of, from your perspective, a locker room with a lot of guys who have not experienced winning in a substantial way?
Yeah, you just keep coaching them on this is a winning play, this is not a winning play, and keep showing them the mistakes that are correctable, and hopefully they'll keep grinding away at that. A lot of our poor play, as it is for a lot of teams, is self-inflicted. Very few times are you just dominated and whipped one-on-one. It happens, but our problems are more self-inflicted a lot. Some of it we are getting whipped, both in blocking and coverage, meaning running the routes. Some of it happens on defense. We get whipped in coverage, get blocked. But more so, if you can just play the fundamental principles of the call on both sides of the ball and kicking game and do it correctly, more times than not, you'll be all right.
A fake punt came right after a timeout. Could you go through how it was, called and what went wrong there?
Yeah, we didn't execute the play very well, and that's a play we've practiced for a while, and we needed a better fake, which did not get carried out. I think we panicked and did not do the details of the play, which caused other problems and made it look like a bad choice at the time.
In light of all that, how do you keep them grinding, as it were?
I think these guys are grinders. They have been up to this point. We will be as a staff, and I believe they'll continue to do that.
Miller had that sack that was negated by penalty, but what did you see from him, both the run and pass game? I mean, were you happy with this?
Yeah, he actually, I thought, played pretty damn good in the game. Lost the sack due to the penalty, which was poor on our part to get that penalty. But I thought overall, although his numbers aren't going to show that, I thought he played pretty damn good.
Troy Aikman on the broadcast, he's rarely critical of quarterbacks, but he was fairly critical of Joe's lack of energy or emotion as the game started to spiral. Was that an issue last night? Is that an issue going forward with Joe?
That is Joe. Like I think I've told you guys before, when things are going good and he's like that, he's Joe Cool. When things are going bad, it's a lack of intensity. It's a lack of enthusiasm. So, I think that's just going to continue to be the dialogue as it relates to Joe Flacco and his career.
Do you have a timetable for Will Parks?
He'll be out a couple weeks for sure.
And then when you come back next week, will Juwan James up his activity?
Yes. Juwan, if we had had a normal week, probably could have played last night. But he didn't feel comfortable, and nor did I, of putting him out there without practice time. And he hadn't had enough quality practice time, and he'd been out 6 weeks. I think it's always, coach's duty to not put a player out there that's not ready. He's cleared medically, but there's another part of the equation when it comes to recovery and rehab, and I don't think he had completed that part yet.
With special teams, I know some plays can kind of get magnified, but are you still confident in Tom McMahon and what he's able to do with that unit?
Absolutely.
How do you help Noah kind of get over some of the struggles he had last night?
Just keep coaching him. He's all he needs to do is come up with a couple of those catches, and his confidence will be better. He'll start to soar, but we're going to keep playing him. He's a young player. It's our job to develop players, and the only way you develop players is to play them.
After the game, Shelby Harris said that the loss maybe shows us that we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Did you feel like that was the case at all?
No. They're a good team. I know they lost their quarterback there in the second quarter, I believe, or whenever it was, but they're a good team. The thing that was surprising was, their defense was the star of the night last night. And that hadn't been the case for them, and they answered the bell, and we didn't.
Back to Noah for the coach. Do you think part of the adjustment is that catches are more consistently challenged at this level than maybe they were in college for him?
Oh, for sure. Yep. Competition is much more, at a higher level than he was used to in college, that's for sure.
With the trade deadline looming and the record being what it is, in your discussions with John Elway, would you encourage him to move some people to accumulate draft picks?
We haven't had any of those discussions yet. And I don't know that we will, We'll see.
What is your confidence in Scangarello?
Pardon me?
Scangarello, offensive coordinator, just how's he doing, going through first year, growing pains himself?
Yeah, we all do. Obviously, a legitimate but poorly timed question in light of last night. But I think Rich is doing good overall. Obviously, last night was not a proud moment for any of us, and we're going to work to get it better.
You said you would consider changes offensively. I'm asking not that I believe it, but I know I'll get asked by others. back be one of those positions that's under consideration for change having this longer week off?
No.
Last one, Nikki.
The IR guys eligible to return to practice, is there a plan for them? Do you expect them to come
Yeah,
back?
we'll start practicing those guys that are eligible this week and get a feel and get feedback of where they're at exactly and decide from there.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay. Okay, see you guys.